In this tutorial, I'm showing you step by step how to make this amazing Saint Honoré Entremet cake. I'll show you how to master 8 essential entremet layer techniques, how I reimagine one of the most classic French desserts, and how to build every layer of the cake from start to finish. My name is Louise Lindberg and I'm a self-taught cake artist and recipe developer. Welcome back to another episode of my baking series From Classic to Iconic, where I turn classic desserts into modern entremet cakes. In this episode, I'm recreating a cake that I've had on my list for a long time, the French Saint Honoré cake that I've turned into an entremet cake. To make the cake, this video is going to teach you how to master 8 different entremet layer techniques. A soft almond joconde, a crunchy almond vanilla praline and feuilletine crunch, a velvety pastry cream, smooth salted caramel, a super creamy vanilla whipped ganache mousse, a shiny transparent glaze, crispy caramelized choux pastry with salted caramel, and a light vanilla whipped ganache to make a petal flower piping pattern. You can find the full recipe on my website, which you can access with a subscription. If you want to learn more about how to make elegant, layered and delicious entremet cakes, you can now check out my online course, Master Entremet Cakes at Home, where I show you how to create professional quality cakes from start to finish, right from your own kitchen. Inside the course, I teach you my 5-step formula that I use for all my cakes: cake base, crunch, creamy element, mousse and decoration. You'll also learn how to make 5 of my signature entremet cakes, different glazing techniques, discover recipe development and cake design, and also receive PDF troubleshooting guides and Excel recipe course material, giving you everything you need to start creating your own cakes at home. Alright, let's get started! I've been wanting to recreate a Saint Honoré cake for so long, as it's one of the cakes that I always eat when I'm in Paris, and I just love the combination of vanilla and caramel. A traditional Saint Honoré cake has flaky puff pastry as the base, but since we are making the classic cake into an entremet cake that will go in the freezer, a layer of puff pastry wouldn't work as it would become soft when defrosting the cake. So instead, I decided to make a soft almond joconde cake because I think almond perfectly balances the vanilla and caramel flavors without stepping too far away from the traditional flavors, and the light texture is also ideal for balancing the other layers that I'm going to add in this cake. I start out by mixing almond flour, sugar and eggs in one bowl. In another bowl, I'm whisking egg whites and sugar to a stiff meringue by gradually adding the sugar for an ideal incorporation of the 2 elements. The meringue is then gently folded into the almond/egg mixture, where I mix around 1/3 of the meringue and then the rest, as this ensures a more even mixing of the 2 elements. Here, it's important to just gently mix the batter so we don't beat air out of the egg whites, as this will deflate the joconde. Lastly, I'm stirring in flour and butter. The batter is poured onto a baking sheet and baked for 6 to 8 minutes at 210 degrees conventional oven until it's lightly golden. Once it's cooled, I cut out 2 cakes with a 16 cm diameter pastry ring and put the first cake in a clean pastry ring. We'll save the other cake for later. I gently level it for a clean cut and put the cake in the freezer while preparing the crunch layer. A traditional Saint Honoré cake doesn't have a separate crunch layer, but what it does have is a flaky puff pastry. With the soft almond joconde being our cake base, I instead decided to add that flaky layer in form of a crunch layer. I chose to make an almond praline combined with vanilla and caramel chocolate to keep the main flavors in the cake and still let the vanilla and caramel flavors shine. I chose to make an almond praline combined with vanilla and caramel chocolate to keep the main flavors in the cake and still let the vanilla and caramel flavors shine. I also decided to add feuilletine to the crunch to make it even more crunchy and add some flakiness to the cake. I here start out by first making the praline by melting sugar to a golden caramel and stirring in roasted almonds to cover them with the caramelized sugar. After the nuts have cooled off, I chop them in smaller pieces and blend them to a smooth almond nut paste praline, along with a vanilla bean that I've roasted in the oven to get that extra vanilla aroma. You'll see how the nuts first turn into a fine powder, then a dense paste, and finally a smooth almond vanilla paste. The next step is to melt caramel chocolate, add feuilletine, and then the almond vanilla praline along with salt to balance the sweetness. I spread half of the crunch on top of the cake, level the layer for a clean cake cut, and put the cake back in the freezer where it needs to set before we can add the pastry cream. We'll save the rest of the crunch for later. One of the main layers in a Saint Honoré is a classic vanilla pastry cream. So I of course had to include this in the cake. The pastry cream brings a perfectly balanced vanilla flavor to the cake and a super smooth texture, which pairs perfectly with the other textures. A classic pastry cream doesn't freeze well, as the egg yolks tends to curdle upon thawing. So I have therefore refined this recipe to specifically ensure that the cream defrosts smoothly without splitting or curdling. To make a nice pastry cream, we of course have to use nice vanilla beans. So I'm first cutting vanilla beans and scraping out the seeds. I combine whole milk and cornstarch and mix this with egg yolks and sugar. The next step is to heat whole milk, vanilla seeds, vanilla beans almost to a boil and let it infuse for 15 minutes to get a stronger vanilla flavor. I then reheat the mixture before pouring the hot milk over the egg mixture. Then it needs to go back in the pot where I heat it while whisking until it thickens to get an almost jelly-like consistency. I strain the cream and stir in butter and soaked gelatin, which will help set up the cream inside the entremet cake. Then the cream needs to set and cool to lukewarm, where I add heavy cream. The heavy cream and gelatin is what prevents the cream from seizing and giving it a creamy texture even after defrosting. After the pastry cream has set, I whip half of the cream to a smooth consistency, put it in a piping bag before spreading the cream on top of the crunch layer. We'll save the rest of the pastry cream for later. Lastly, I put the cake in the freezer where the surface needs to set before we can add the caramel. Besides vanilla, salted caramel is the hero flavor in a Saint Honoré, so I decided to make my very favorite salted caramel. This salted caramel honestly tastes so amazing as it has such a pure caramel flavor from both caramelized sugar and caramel chocolate, which perfectly balances and contrasts the vanilla and almond flavors in the cake. I here start out by heating glucose syrup, brown sugar, heavy cream in a pan where I heat it to 180 degrees, as this gives the caramel the correct texture and setting level to hold its shape inside an entremet cake. I take the pot off the heat, pour the mixture in a jug and add caramel chocolate and salt before hand blending. I chose to make this into a salted caramel to balance the sweetness of the caramel and add a bit of contrast to the sweet vanilla. Then the caramel needs to cool off in a plastic box before I can put it in a piping bag. Once the caramel is more set and has a pipeable texture, I put a bit less than half of the caramel in the piping bag. We'll save the rest for the second part of the assembly and also for filling the choux buns that will go on top of the cake. We can now pipe the caramel on top of the set pastry cream and level the layer with a small palette knife. Now that we've finished the first round of layers, it's time to complete the cake with a second round. Now that we have one layer of each component, it's time to repeat the process to build depth of flavor and get a clean layered cake to take the French cake from classic to iconic. I first put the second Almond Joconde on top of the salted caramel and gently level the layer. I put the cake in the freezer for approximately 10 minutes, just so the surface can set a little, before I add the remaining almond vanilla praline and feuilletine crunch layer. While the crunch is setting in the fridge, I whip up the remaining pastry cream, put it in a piping bag and pipe it onto the cake. I again put the cake back in the freezer, where the cream needs to set for approximately 1 to 2 hours, as the surface needs to be set before we can add one last layer. I put most of the remaining room temperature salted caramel in a piping bag and finish the cake with this last layer. We'll save a bit of the caramel for filling the choux buns when decorating the cake. After leveling this layer, the cake needs to freeze fully overnight. To encase the cake, I chose to make the most velvety vanilla element that I know, my vanilla whipped ganache mousse. This ganache is super creamy and thicker than a normal whipped ganache, making it perfect as a mousse due to its stable texture. It's full of vanilla, giving it the most pure flavor, which is perfect to round off our cake layers. I start out by cutting the vanilla beans and scraping out the seeds. I then heat the heavy cream with the vanilla beans and seeds just to the boiling point, then remove it from the heat so the vanilla fully can infuse for a more pronounced flavor. I let it soak for around 15 minutes. We can now reheat the cream until almost a boil, remove the vanilla beans and add soaked gelatin before pouring it over chopped white chocolate. After it's set for around 1 minute, I hand blend to combine, then add cold heavy cream and blend again. I pour the cream in a bowl, cover the surface with cling film, and put the ganache in the fridge for minimum 3 hours before we can whip it up to fill it in the cake. After the ganache has fully set, I whip it to medium peaks, place it in a piping bag, and spread 75% of the ganache in a silicone mold that I blind with acetate sheet to extend the height of the mold. This ganache has a thick consistency, so it's very important to ensure that the ganache is fully spread out in the mold to avoid any missing spot or air pockets, as this will be visible on the final cake. I therefore use a small palette knife to spread the ganache onto the sides of the cake and tap the cake mold several times to distribute the ganache. I then put in the frozen cake insert with the caramel facing downwards and spread the remaining ganache around the sides of the cake, again ensuring to cover all spots and remove any air pockets with the spatula. I clean the bottom of the cake with a small palette knife, and then it needs to freeze fully overnight. To decorate the cake, I wanted to add that extra shine without covering the mousse, as I wanted the beautiful vanilla seeds in the mousse to be visible. That's why I decided to make a transparent glaze instead of a chocolate mirror glaze. Here I heat sugar, water and cocoa syrup in a saucepan to 105 degrees. I then take the pan off the heat, whip in soaked gelatin and add strained lemon juice before straining the glaze in a tall jug. I cover the glaze with cling film and then it needs to cool to 35 degrees. Once the glaze is ready, I place the cake on a baking cooling rack and put the glaze over the frozen cake. I remove the glaze excess from the cake by moving the cake around the baking cooling rack with 2 palette knives and place the cake on a cake plate. Now that the cake is glazed, we can start preparing the chocolate decoration. For the decoration, I knew that I wanted to keep the traditional colors from a Saint Honoré, white for vanilla and brown for caramelized choux pastry. In order to balance the colors, I decided to make white chocolate ribbons. I'm here making 2 white ribbons to go around the cake and a smaller, more narrow ribbon that will go on top of the cake to encase the caramelized choux buns and the piped cream that we will add later on. I first put the whitest chocolate ribbon around the cake, then the second ribbon around the cake, and the last ribbon on top of the cake. That means we now can prepare the elements that will go inside the chocolate ribbon on top of the cake. The main decorative element of a Saint Honoré is unmistakably choux pastry covered with caramel. It's what gives the cake that signature look, so I of course had to add these to our recreated Saint Honoré Entremet. This doesn't only make it look like the classic cake, but it also adds different textures to the cake, and the deep caramel flavor perfectly balances and contrasts the vanilla elements. I make the choux pastry by first heating milk, water, sugar and butter in a pot until the butter is melted, and remove the pan once it's boiling. I add flour and whisk with a hand whisk until there's no clumps left, and put the pot back on the heat. We now need to bake the dough, and this is where we need to be careful, as an overcooked or undercooked batter will lead to uneven choux pastry. Having the pot on medium heat, I bake the dough while constantly turning it with a spatula. You'll know the dough is done when it collects into a coherent bowl. You'll see steam starts forming, then you count to 20 while turning it and then take the dough off the heat. I now place the baked dough in a bowl, let it cool off for around 1 minute and use a hand mixer to gradually and slowly whisk in the eggs until you see a V-shaped ribbon pattern form, because that's how you know it has the right texture for piping. I use a 1.5 cm cookie cutter with icing sugar at the bottom to make round marks, because this ensures that the choux buns are piped in exactly the same size, and then pipe the choux buns with a 1 cm round pastry tip. Then the buns need to bake for 20 minutes at 180 degrees conventional oven. It's important not to open the oven door before the 20 minutes, as this will deflate the choux buns. After 20 minutes, I poke a tiny hole in each of the buns with a knead needle to remove any excess air while the buns are still in the oven, and bake them for a few more minutes until golden. Once the choux buns has cooled, I use a small round pastry tip to cut a hole in the bottom and fill the choux buns with the remaining salted caramel. Now we're moving on to the part of making the caramel coating to cover the surface of the filled choux buns. This will give the buns that signature Saint Honoré look and also gives a nice crunch to the cake. I make the caramel coating by mixing glucose syrup, sugar and water and boiling it until it caramelizes. I prefer using a slightly darker caramel, as I like a more deep caramel flavor, and I also think it's a nice visual contrast to the cake, which is why I'm cooking the caramel to 175 degrees. I take the pot off the heat, where it continues cooking to 180 to 185 degrees, which leads to a darker caramel. Once the caramel has cooled off and there's no air bubbles left, I use a knife to dip the choux buns in the caramel, let the excess caramel drip off before placing the choux buns in a silicone mold that's bigger than the choux bun. This ensures that the surface of the caramel will look consistent for all choux buns, and it also just gives a sharper look. Once the caramel is set, I pop out the choux buns and place them in the chocolate ribbon on top of the cake. Finally, we can now prepare the very last element of the cake. Besides caramel-coated choux buns, the signature look of a Saint Honoré is completed with a beautiful piping pattern. Many use chantilly cream for this, yet I decided to make a vanilla whipped ganache, as I personally like to use this for piping and I just love the creamy texture it has. I start out by cutting the vanilla beans and scraping out the seeds. I then heat heavy creams, vanilla beans and the seeds almost to the boiling point, then remove it from the heat so the vanilla fully can infuse for a more pronounced flavor, and let it soak for around 15 minutes. Now reheat the cream almost to a boil, add soaked gelatin and remove the vanilla beans before pouring it over chopped white chocolate. After it's set for around 1 minute, I hand blend to combine, then add cold heavy cream and blend again. I pour the cream in a bowl, cover the surface with cling film and put the ganache in the fridge for minimum 3 hours before we can whip it up to decorate the cake. I whip up the ganache to medium peaks, where I'm careful not to whip it too much, as a too stiff whipped ganache will make it difficult to pipe this floral pattern. I use a Saint Honoré tip to make a floral pattern, piping one petal at a time in a spiral pattern by using a cake turntable and slowly turn as I go. To get clean edges, I find that it helps to clean the piping nozzle in between piping the petals and to remove a bit of the cream in the middle, as the cream otherwise can pile up. And that's how we get a nice petal pattern for our cake. Lastly, I place one caramel coated choux bun in the middle of the pipe petals and decorate the cake with different white flowers. And here we have the final Saint Honoré cake that I'm honestly obsessed with. I truly love how elegant the design of this cake turned out and how it incorporates all the main flavors and elements from the traditional cake, yet with a modern entremet touch, taking the Saint Honoré cake from classic to iconic. I hope you get the chance to make this amazing Saint Honoré cake at home. And if you like my videos, make sure to subscribe, and you can also check out my Entremet cake playlist here. See you in the next video.